God willing, we gonna be here, and we don't got turkey pox.
Turkey pox.
Turkey pox.
They gonna go through every animal.
Man, each one. They gonna Komodo dragon pox. So 10 years, we want health. We definitely want some accolades, some more credits. I feel like
my man say he building the box right now.
The box, man. We need the trophy case. You know what I'm saying? We gotta just fill it up. That's all. If you build it, they will come.
What is going on, Caffeine and Creative family? I am your host, X. Welcome back to Caffeine and Creatives, where we talk to creative minds about trying times and the caffeine that wakes them up and keeps them going. To my right today, I have my guy, my man, 100 grand. Has anybody said that in a minute? I haven't heard that in a while.
That's a first.
My man, 100 grand. Grammy on the way, another one. Pen game crazy. Never mediocre, always perfect.
Oof. Intro.
My guy.
Thank you.
Are we going by perfect? We're going by J2Tiimes. What are we going by these days?
Look, see. I'm a ghost.
You ghost,
I'm a ghost, man. I go by whatever. So perfect has been like my old name, like my artist name. So if you met me as an artist, it was like perfect. But that's kind of then turned into the songwriting side is J2Tiimes. So
right. So when y'all see the credits, it's probably gonna say J2Tiimes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Regardless, the mind behind whatever the name is crazy.
Thank you.
How you feeling today?
I am ready to get to some of this caffeine in my system.
True.
I feel going a little bit.
Are you a coffee drinker?
I am, but I'm weaning.
Mm-hmm.
I'm weaning. I'm trying to get more into the teas and.
I had a small period of time. My wife even bought me like this box of assortment of teas because I was like, I'm trying to drink less coffee and like trying to go to the tea, and I was just like, I just didn't stick with it. I'm like,
it be like that coffee. Sometimes. Coffee's good. Coffee is good.
It's like I like coffee. I always like to start off the show with because this is Caffeine and Creative. Define creativity and how you fit into that your definition of what creative is.
Creativity to me is being able to express yourselves in ways outside of bringing what's in your head into manifesting into reality in some way, shape, or form. So whether that's through sound, whether that's through something visual, and using your senses, that's creative. And the second part was?
How does J2Tiimes fit into that definition? Like, how do you use that to be a creative?
How I use it is, music.
Music.
Music to me is the utmost, the language that we don't talk about enough. Like, defies so many barriers.
I agree. Yeah, I definitely agree. It's the one universal language for sure.
You don't gotta know the words. You just you feel what I'm saying. That's
you literally feel what I'm saying. You literally feel what I'm saying. Give me a little bit of a background story for the people that don't know you. How did we get to this point of using music as our creative outlet? When did you even figure out that, like, one, I'm a creative, and two, music is going to be the way I use that creativity?
Oh, man. First, you got to find out what your bliss is. And you take that and you follow it. So I feel like early on, I was able to find out that music is something that, and how you do that is find out what you want to do for the rest of your life without getting paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
And would you still be doing it? So it's like, as long as I'm able to, whatever,
Right,
make some type of sound, I would love to keep doing this, whether I'm getting paid for it or not. So if you continue to follow that, ways are going to open up and it's going to bring more opportunities. So started off in artist career, I think you're always going to be an artist when you're an artist. You don't just
Right.
Van Gogh just didn't like, I ain't no Van Gogh no more,
Right.
But yeah, I artistry first, then into the songwriting, where I was introduced during my artistry into different avenues of where else music is being used. Like,
right. I've been trying to redefine the term artist myself because it's like when people ask me, I don't get the question a lot like, oh, do you make music too? Because everybody knows me as an engineer. Some people know me for production, but definitely in more so engineering and stuff, but also like songwriting and stuff to a certain extent.
Right.
And it's like, oh, are you an artist? And it's like, I don't like making an artist only a person that's in front of the camera.
Yeah, so boxed in.
Yeah, so but like I like you said, like Van Gogh is an artist. Anybody who creates on any type of medium is an artist. Whether or not I'm the person
a chef is an artist.
A chef is an artist. So it's like regardless of you being the forefront or in front of the face of everything, you could still be an artist without being famous for it. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like I value that nuance. I think it comes down to a nuance thing for me. It's kind of like, all right, cool. Like, yes, I create things, but no, I don't want to do shows or be in front of on TV or be seen in the spotlight. But I'm still an artist.
Vampires live forever in the shadows, you know what I'm saying? You could just duck off and still be good. You don't gotta be seen. So
I feel it. With finding like making that transition from being an artist to a writer, how did that transition happen? Was it something like, I know a lot of people was like, all right, like maybe somebody came across your music and there's like, hey, do you write too or something like that? Or
that definitely happened.
So tell me that story. What was that story?
It's that story started with who was one of my first? KP, I think. It was working on my stuff for Shakespeare. Shakespeare, we were working on my artistry, but then it all just ended up going into different artists, and it's just like, oh, okay, that's cool. I'm cool with that. I think figuring out my sound as a songwriter or my lane was more so when you look at it in a sense of I'm not writing for somebody else, I'm writing for what I would do for it, and then trying to pitch it, because everybody hears things differently. You can't sound like somebody else, and then everybody sounds like each other, and with these recycled sounds. But yeah, man,
I respect that a lot because it's there takes a certain level of selflessness to like, especially if you're a person that gets attached to your art. It's like, all right, I came into this thinking that like, yeah, this is about to be my whatever such and such, and then it's like, hey, we should put this with such and such or whatever. Like, was there any level of ego in that? Like,
hell yeah.
So what did that look like?
Yeah, that's because it's your babies. As the artist is like, oh yeah, this is my song and my this and my that, and you want to be in the forefront, or you want to be the whole American way is to be the star, you know. So getting to the point to where you can just give your babies away, or not look at it like it's more of a collaborative effort, or like the bigger picture is you get to work with all these other people and get their ideas, or you get to at least give a smidget of your idea on somebody else's. So it's ego, it was definitely in the way at first. You don't want to just,
Mm.
you know?
No, I feel that. That leads me to one question I did have. Like now, like you've kind of found your niche
Mhm.
to a certain extent. Describe kind of like that pocket that you sit in the music and entertainment industry now. Like what is, like, I don't want to say your job title, but like you went from artist to being a writer, but what does your day-to-day like responsibility within the industry look like now?
My responsibility within the industry is to take an idea or a concept and give it lyrics, arrangement, and melody. I am a songwriter. I am a ghost. I love being in the room because the behind the scenes is what nobody sees except for the people that's there, you know, or that, you know, comes out later. It's a lot of energy there.
Yeah.
It's a lot of real moments, like in connectivity and being in the room. So
Agreed.
I love that.
I feel that. When you approach that though now, especially because that's your to an extent that's your bread and butter. I'm not counting your pockets, but like that's how you make your money in the industry. How when you started actually making a living being a writer, how did you deal with the balance between I'm trying to get to this check and the preparing for situations where it's like maybe if you have those situations, because I would like to think that as a songwriter, once you start getting those calls, people are typically asking or calling you because of what they feel like you're capable of or something they've already seen from you. Do you ever walk into a situation where it's like, this is not really my forte of like, or not even my preference of like maybe style of music or the type of artist that I'm necessarily trying to build my catalog with from this point? Like, how do you walk into those situations? How do you prepare for that? If like that, I'm sure that's probably happened before.
One rule of thumb is how much do you cost? Everybody got a price tag because you can have your morals like up here. Like, man, I ain't gonna work with no Tekashi 6ix9ine until they be like, hey, 10 mil for the like, hey, what, you need a hook, bro? I got you. But I don't think it's too much of an issue when it comes to just creating, because you get to create. Like I find the enjoyment in creating with mostly all individuals. I get to, you know, show you how I make cake. You know, like everybody's had their own recipe, and now if you come in to my kitchen, we gonna cook, and then this is how I do it. But there has been scenarios where it's like, you know, you can't see the vision, or you can't sell the dream, or you don't want to work with, like you said, someone that is going to put I don't know, a big blow to your catalog. Like you like, I don't want to be known for yodeling.
Right.
Like I'm not. That's it's not my thing.
Have you ever been in a situation where it's been like this could go, and the fact that this could go makes me not necessarily want to do it based on your preference?
This can go like up.
Yeah, like I've been in some rooms, and obviously we're not gonna say names, but I've been in some rooms and I've seen writers work with certain artists, and it'll almost be like because of their situation, like whether it be like a label situation, they're backing the machine that they have, like they know that this could potentially go out of there.
Right.
But I don't want to be the guy that's known, or the person that's known for that.
That's man.
I don't want to get more calls for that, even though that could be a check.
I've seen it happen so many times, and it still baffles me sometimes. But at the end of the day, it's a job.
Right.
Like, a lot of people wake up and go to work, the job they don't want to do. So you would just be another one of those people. But this is only this much part of your entire life anyway. So I take it with a grain of salt. Hopefully it doesn't last long, or you can find a way to slide out of that. Like if my song was a country jam, and then I got stuck right in country jams. Like, hey, I love country too, but not as much as I love R&B.
Nah, I feel it. I feel it.
Okay.
I feel it.
But that check.
That
check be changing things.
Speaking of checks, it is a good time right now. I want to go ahead. Let's take a quick break. Check out a couple of our sponsors, a couple of our partners. We'll be right back with Caffeine and Creatives. My guy, J2Tiimes.
Yes, sir.
Welcome back. We are back, Caffeine and Creatives, with my guy, J2Tiimes, in the building.
2 times.
We left off, we were talking over the break about longevity. Essentially, that's what I'm gonna say. Cause that sounds like the word. I feel like how Rick Ross would be like, yeah, that was a good word.
Okay. Like that. Let's go longevity.
We was talking longevity. What is the J2Tiimes legacy? What do you want to be remembered for?
Multiple things, because I can't just wear one hat. But when it comes to my field of work in the industry, I would love to be known for my work. Like, if that's what you're leaving behind, if that's your bread and butter, the lyrics that come behind it, the thought that comes behind it, the feeling that comes behind it, and the sound overall is what I want to be known for. Like, Dr. Seuss is Dr. Seuss, you know what I'm saying?
Fact.
He's not going nowhere. I want J2Tiimes, perfect, to be perfect. Like, hey, that nigga right there be writing. He be writing.
Fact.
But yeah, I wanna leave that. Like you said, them forever checks.
Yeah, forever checks. I respect that. I think outside of my works, because I feel like my works are going to be tied to the moments in time, and so it's going to be more so like timestamps. But I would love to leave ideas, like philosophies, like I would love to leave like train of thoughts.
Come on now.
These are principles, leaving like, this is the idea that how they be like the great Sun Tzu or something.
Yeah.
I would like to be that person. It's like the quotable person. Like, all right, cool. So like, what is going to be my E equals MC
wise
squared?
X.
Like, you know what I mean? What is going to be my E equals MC squared?
There it is.
My Pythagorean theorem. Like,
see, to be known for, the hat I want to be known for is to be the Oracle. I love the Oracle in the Matrix, because you had to come see the Oracle in order to get to that next spot. So it's like I want people to know that they can come to me. I'm gonna
wherever you at. It's not even that I have the answers. It's just that I have whatever. I can see where you're at, and I see what you're missing.
I know what you need, man.
Yeah, and I think that's the great part. I feel like that's the conversation that we don't have about like great songwriters, not just but more so for you, because you're not you to some extent, like you do have like the records that you send out. It's like, yeah, like I've been in the lab. I've cooked up a nice little catalog. I can send off a couple records.
And then,
but then like the part that I respect, even more so than that, is seeing you in the room with an artist. It's like, it doesn't matter who walks in the room. as soon as they hit play on whatever their idea is, it's like, all right, cool. I have about 5 things that could take this from here to here. Wherever you're at, I know how it could be better.
Thank you. Thank you.
Like I can add. There's something that we can. Hey, let's just put this over here. Let's and you're an architect in that sense. It's like
I love working with people that are malleable like that, because just by hearing it, like, and all you gotta do sometimes is move some things around or say this a certain way, put this right here, right before that, and then when you hear it, it's like, oh, that's golden. Like, one moment in music that I like a lot is Roddy Ricch's Box, because the song's hot, but what made it was that final touch of that little. Nigga, I could be your eater. I take pride in finding those little nuances.
Little things. Man, I'm like, I say that all the time. My favorite, like, I'm not a super like crazy producer. I'm just like, I'm a stickler for the moments. Like, it gotta have what are gonna be those moments. Like
DJ dropped the DJ dropped the track.
Yeah, like those moments where it's just like them, like it's not a grandiose thing. It's just that small little detail that's just like I remember. Like, what's that song with the? You gonna say like, like you gonna know exactly what song we talking about. Like,
and it's Roddy delivered that record.
Yeah.
But there may have been, I mean, in that case it was him, but sometimes it's not them. Yeah, sometimes it's your partner that's just like, hey, nigga, hit him with that woo. And nigga hit that woo with that track, and that's the part that everybody do. It's called woo now. Like,
Facts.
It be that sometimes. And I think that's the, like, as the multi-faceted hats that you wear, being in the studio and behind the scenes, that's the magic that you get to see when you are in the and behind the scenes.
Right, exactly. I want to take a somewhat of a pivot, because I always like to add the inspirational aspect to everybody's story.
Okay.
Talk me through, because you've been doing. How long have you been writing at this point?
Oof. I want to say professionally for at least 10 years.
At least 10 years. So, like, this is a great question then, because, like, everybody I talk to that's, like, at the decade point of their career.
Right.
Talk to the viewers about because we all go through them, that I almost gave up period.
Oh, God. That could be a daily thing. Like,
yeah. But there's always like that period, that window of time where it's kind of like I might have even sat it down for a minute, and then you came back with whatever it was that sparked it. But what was that? What was that time like for you?
There's things that you can't sit down, so they're either gonna move on their own or something's gonna put them into motion, like a ball. Like, if the ground starts shaking, that ball gonna move. Earthquake, ball gonna move, pivot. But beyond that, I feel like music, like I said earlier, I found my bliss in that. So it's something I couldn't leave alone, or I would always find my way back to. But those time periods where it's just like you're not making money from it. So you have to be happy with the fact that I'm still doing it, or I'm able to do it. Like, I be having thought work sometimes where it's just like, damn, what if you just couldn't use your voice no more? Like, then what? You better hurry up and get some more songs out, because, there is going to be a point where your voice don't sound the same, or now you have to express your ideas in another way, so, hey, you gotta decide early on if you want to stick in for the long haul with certain things and see it grow, because that's the thing, like seeds, man. You're all planting seeds. You can't just boom, beanstalk. Like, you either got to see the process or keep on watering it, nurturing it, let it grow, or you got to leave that shit alone. It's going to die on its own. Everybody don't got a green thumb.
Right. Did that ever change your your perspective of how you approached like your creativity and your passion? Was it like prior to those moments you were striving for whatever that looked like? Maybe like I'm going for the placements, I'm going for this level, like my idea of success with doing this versus like, all right, it's not really going how I wanted to. I'm not gonna put it down because I love it too much, but I might pivot. Like I might I gotta just make music for me or something. One of those situations where it's kind of like, all right, like I'm gonna just make my records and I'm not really gonna be in everybody's studio trying to get the next hit necessarily. Like, what was that situation like, or that thought process?
I feel like I was more interested in getting my music out there at one point in time, like as an artist. And it pivoted for me when it was like, even if you can't get it out there, are you still going to be recording it? So since it's like, yes, there's other ways to get your music out there. It doesn't have to, you don't have to be at the forefront. So, hey, that shadow work. That shadow work is the determining factors is it can't be money. It can't be, you can't attach some material stuff to your goals, I feel like. And then you have to realize that your goals are going to change. They're going to constantly change. So and you hear it a lot throughout music, some of the greats, they'll say they reached a certain point in their career or in their fame, and then it felt the same as being here, or you wanted it more. Like J. Cole was saying being broke was better. And, no offense to anybody that's broke. Right. But like that's how it feels sometimes. You gotta chase whatever you want for the right reasons.
Right. What was the turning point? Like the caffeine, I call it the caffeine period, where you woke up and was like, okay, like we're really about to go now. Like it's going. Like whether that was like a specific moment in time where something came through or something took off, or what was that point for you?
It was, you know how they say you shouldn't meet your idols. Was that the saying?
I think I know what you mean. Yeah.
Well, I met one of mine and I had a great experience. So that was, that was my point where it was just like, all right, well, yeah, you must have the Midas touch if.
Who was that?
Oh, Pharrell.
Pharrell. Yeah. Oh, yes, sir. That's one of mine for sure.
Yeah,
it's from Virginia.
Yeah.
So it's
it hits different when, it's like.
What was that like?
It's like, it was like being knighted. I'm just right here like this, and it's all right. You got it, my nigga. You got it. So I feel like when I hit that point, I knew I had it within myself. So at any point past that, it's not on anybody but you, whether what level of fame or success you want to attain.
That was almost similar to, not to cut you off, but I saw Usher, when Usher had his tiny desk, Vito that was doing background. It was Vito and Eric Bellinger that was doing backgrounds for him.
Okay, Vito. Eric.
Yeah, Vito did an interview, and somebody asked him what was one of his biggest takeaways from being around like Usher, and like how Usher inspired him and things like that. He was saying he was talking to Usher, and Usher was telling him, he was like, "You got it." He was like, I can tell that, dang, what did he say? He said, I can tell that you don't wholeheartedly trust yourself yet. It was like, you got it, you just gotta trust yourself more. Like you can sing.
Ego's a motherfucker.
He was like, you can sing, like you can hit the notes, but it's like I can tell that you don't fully trust yourself yet. And I feel like that's a breakthrough point for a lot of, especially creatives. It's kind of like even if you like your product,
right?
I think we all go through that point where it's kind of like will it be received well?
Received well.
Yeah, and then you kind of that'll eat up your whole entire motivation sometimes of like what is going to be the perception of this versus trusting that, I don't remember who said it, but trusting that you have a gift, that God gave you this gift. And why in the world would God give you something that's not godly?
Yeah. That's useless.
That's useless. like not even useless, but it's just like that doesn't deserve to be at the level that you're trying to make it. Like God gave it to you. So it's like at the highest point of utilizing this, it should be nothing less than
yeah. Because it's some cosmic
yeah, you know,
cosmic powers.
Like it's something that is deeper than you. It's deeper than the people that you feel like you want to like it, liking it, if that makes sense. It's deeper than the people that you feel like should respect what you're doing, respecting it. Because if you put, I tell a lot of artists that I talk to, I'm like, sometimes, a lot of times, certain art just needs to exist. Like your art should just,
for the sake of being art,
for the sake of it existing. There's at least one life that could be changed from your art just existing, regardless of how you feel it should be received by the masses or praised at the highest level. Like your art should just simply exist, because who knows what it's going to be.
Man, I always say don't undermine the power of inspiration. You don't know what you can inspire in somebody, because you always hear those, and we love those stories where it's like, oh man, it was my grandma who told me, just make it. You're gonna make it. And I stuck by those words, man, and I made it.
I tell that story all the time about how my grandma always said, remember, there's always more than one road that leads to the city.
See?
Yeah.
And it'd be like that. Boom. You never know what that exactly sparks in somebody. Like
that segue. And I've never been able to ask this question on Caffeine and Creatives yet. You were one of the first people. How has being a parent and being a father impacted your career and your creativity? Like, what does that balance look like for you?
That balance, I feel like it flawlessly goes hand in hand, because, like I said, I find creativity in being a parent. So, fatherhood. Like my daughter had to come with me during interviews. She was strapped to my chest on a little baby carrier thing.
Bro, I remember that.
V103. And I love to be able to bring them along and incorporate them in the music. And they had to come in some sessions, you know. So I think it's great because, like I said, you can find creativity in adding them to the mix, and it doesn't harm it. Like I don't think it gets to the point to where they're in the way. You know, you should be able to incorporate your kids in your work too.
Right. I think it's far from harming, because I've told people a lot of times how my life changed and how I became more creative after being a parent. I think we were talking about that as well. It's like to be a parent, you have to be creative anyway. Like to be a good parent. It's like
more than one solution.
Yeah, you're gonna have to figure it out, and that takes I feel like creatives, and I think this should be a T-shirt. Creatives make the best parents. Yeah, like creatives make the best parents. I promise you, because my son has literally added so much color to my life and outlook of youthfulness and my level of conversation, being able to talk to other people in a business setting with a certain level of patience, helped dramatically with that.
You learn so much from the kids.
Man, if you can talk to a 5-year-old and explain something to them and they get it,
and get them to understand
it, you can communicate anything to anybody. I promise you. Yeah, like that it's been one has been a roller coaster. I'm not where you're at because your oldest is
11.
11.
Yeah.
And that's your whole career.
Middle school?
Yeah. Even that, man, I know my son just started kindergarten.
Yeah.
So like I don't even want to. I ain't even gonna get it.
Yeah,
And your oldest is a daughter.
Don't worry about that just yet. Yeah.
Yeah. So you got a daughter in middle school. We're not even gonna touch on that. Y'all put y'all questions in the comments and ask my man how he dealing with that.
Coming.
We're gonna have a whole nother conversation of like what your therapy sessions. What that look like dealing with that?
A lot of meditation. a lot of pre-rolled meditation.
I feel that. I feel it. We touched on legacy. We touched on like what we wanted to be known for. And we've also getting into the kids' conversation, like our physical legacy of like the idea and literally ourselves in another human being. Going into the future. What does the next? We've been doing this for a decade now. Speak to what you see the next decade looking like for you. What are some, if you have any 10-year goals? What does that look like for you going in the future?
10 years, God willing, we gonna be here and we don't got turkey pox.
Turkey pox. They gonna go through every animal.
Man, each one. They gonna Komodo dragon pox. So 10 years, we want health. We definitely want some accolades, some more credits. I feel like
my man said he building the box right now.
The box, man. We need the trophy case. You know what I'm saying? We gotta just fill it up. That's all. If you build it, they will come. So, like the next 10 years, we gonna high school and.
I said we're not even gonna.
Yeah, we're just gonna keep it in the music. Hey, we're gonna be here, and that's a gym though. I was talking to being here is a thing.
That's facts. I talked to my wife as far as like just to touch on what you were saying. Like if you build it, they will come. Speaking to the future, it's like I was talking to my wife and I was like, we say we want a new car, or we say we want all this other stuff that we're trying to accumulate, but we haven't made the space for it to exist yet. And I think that's a gem that I feel like people can pick up on. It's like if there's something that you're trying to get, if there's something that you're working on receiving, make sure that you make the room to receive it. Make space for it. You got to make space for it. So like I wanted to give you kudos on that because I think that was a gem that might have went over people's head.
Man, I imagine how many people bought a Tesla and couldn't charge it because they didn't have a garage or something, or you had an apartment complex and you can't even. You got an extension cord going up the elevator to get to your house to plug it, you know.
So I would like to say
be ready for it.
That's facts. So if I had to wrap up J2Tiimes 10 years from now, the only thing that we worried about now is preparing for everything we don't got and continuing to grow in health to happily see those things come into fruition.
Correct.
That's what I'm hearing. Did I hit it on the head?
You hit it on the head. You hit it on the head. That is.
That's where we at. So if you're listening to this, make sure you're taking care of yourself. Make sure you're staying creative. Make sure that you're putting yourself in the best position to receive everything that you want.
Oh yeah.
And make sure you're making space for all the things that you want. Like you saying you want it, but your house is cluttered right now. Make some space. Make some space for it. You know what I mean? Get rid of some stuff you don't need. You know what I mean? Build a shelf.
Build a shelf,
and
a trophy case.
Build a trophy case.
A trophy room.
Whatever that's going to be. And put the work in and it's going to happen. I appreciate you for coming through. Amazing conversation.
Short hop, skip, and a walk. That's nothing.
Quotables for days. I'm gonna have fun chopping this one up for the clips for sure. Where can the people find you?
Y'all can find me on IG J2Tiimes with 2 I's. MoveDope.com. Come snack some merch. Come through that. we can plug.
Yeah, for sure.
Outside of that, man, slide me a DM, man. I like real people connections. So
yes.
I'm into linking up and we can go bowling or something like this.
Facts. I was about to say we gotta put that together. Get some kid out.
I'm trying to get more people that can cook, bro. I need the potlucks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we gonna put that together for sure. Appreciate you again, my guy. Y'all follow Caffeine and Creatives. Follow my guy.
Please do.
Instagram, Caffeine and Creatives, spelled out. We are on TikTok. We are on Twitter. We are on Instagram. We are on YouTube. Like and subscribe to the YouTube page. Please, if you have not yet, we're putting out quality conversations for free. All you got to do is like and subscribe.
Oh, you hit it, man.
Like and subscribe. Check us out. Stay tuned. New episodes dropping every Monday. Consistency. I'm gonna make sure. That's the key. I'm gonna make sure of it. Every Monday, dropping new episodes. J2Tiimes. Appreciate you.
Pleasure's mine.
We are out of this thing. Love y'all. Stay creative. We out.